everybody, welcome back to the kitchen. We are on day 2 of preservation and we are going to make some rhubarb jam. In our last video we were doing broth. I've got my last 2 jars in the canner from that last video, and now we are going to start with this jam. It says to start with, in the ball canning book, 2 cups of strawberries and 2 cups of rhubarb. The strawberries are supposed to be crushed. I'm doing a double recipe, so I have 4 cups of crushed strawberries, and I do not want to waste any of that juice. So we're gonna scrape that right out of there. Oh, there's a little more. Okay, then we have 4 cups of the rhubarb that we're going to put in here. We're going to turn on our heat to like a medium-high. We're going to mix this together first. And then the recipe called for 4 tablespoons of lemon juice. So we have 8 tablespoons of lemon juice that we're going to add in here. And then you need pectin, and the original recipe calls for 1 box of Sure Gel pectin, and I am doubling, so I have 2 boxes of pectin, and I added it with 1 cup of sugar. And I'm going to bring this to a boil. Okay, we are back, and I just want to show you how beautiful this is. Look at this. Isn't that just gorgeous? Now we're going to get this to a boil, and then we had to add in our sugar. And then once that sugar is added, we have to bring it to a rolling boil. And once it is at a rolling boil, which is a boil that you cannot stop, will not stop when you're stirring it, you need to do that for another minute. And then we're going to take it off the heat, remove any of the foam, and then we're going to start ladling our jars. gonna go.
15 dead now.
Reducing emissions by 60% with all NTT IndyCar Series races. We're moving forward with IndyCar. Shell, powering progress. Caesars and Caesar. I was wrong.
It's a real tough one to say because I'm sorry. Goodbye.
For me, it's saying I love you. That's enough to say anything.
Okay, you guys, it has been a couple of days since we started our rhubarb journey. It's actually been, I bought this rhubarb last Friday and today is Thursday. So, over the weekend, I had gotten the strawberry rhubarb jam done. I thought I was going to need a lot more rhubarb than I actually needed for this recipe, even doubling it. I only needed 4 cups of rhubarb, and I had bought probably about a dozen stalks. And then I canned it, and I was like, man, I should have gotten a lot more jars according to the recipe. Well, when you don't put it in jelly jars and you put it in pint jars, you know, I would have had about 12. So, but this is just so amazing. And for lunch this week, I took some cottage cheese and put a dollop of that from the stuff that was left over that didn't fit in the jar. And it was amazing. It tastes so good. So that was that. And then on Monday, we had gone to Schnepp Farms. It's peach season. And they have a peach festival, and they do pick your own peaches and all of this. We didn't do the pick your own. If I want to pick my peaches, once they're ripe, I can go out and pick the peaches. Mine come in a little bit later, but I think some of those are actually ready too. Anyway, I bought 3 cases of peaches. 24 to 28 peaches come in each one. And when I got them home, I couldn't do anything with them right away because some of them weren't ripe. So I thought I'm just going to lay them out for a couple of days, and now when you walk in the house you can just smell the peaches. So I got done with work as soon as I could today. I'm going to be processing those. I'm going to do those, can those, slice them up and can them. I'm not sure if I'm just having or if I'm going to do slices. pretty sure slices because those are not freestone. And I think if I try to do 2 halves, I have a feeling it's not gonna work, but we'll see. And then I have the rest of this rhubarb that we have to make. So I found another jam recipe that I want to try, and I'm going to do it in the jelly jars. And it is a strawberry or a rhubarb orange jam. I think that's going to be really good with the tartness of the rhubarb and the orange. I think that's going to taste really good. And I think I'm going to need 4 cups for that also. I haven't looked it up yet. And then I have about 2 extra cups. And what I'm going to do with that is make some muffins. So that'll use up all the rhubarb. And it's been fun trying different recipes and stuff. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go and purchase some more and try a couple different things. And I want to make some more of the strawberry rhubarb jam in the jelly jars. Because I think I would like to give that as gifts. I mean, look at this jar. It is just, it's so beautiful. I just love the color. And it's very refreshing. So, that's what we got going on. I'm gonna finish cutting up this rhubarb, and we're gonna get going first on the jam, and then we'll make the muffins afterwards, because I want to make sure that I have enough rhubarb definitely for the jam. I'll look that up and see exactly what I need. But both of the recipes I'm getting out of the Ball book of home preservation. I love this book. It's got so much stuff in it. So let's see. Rhubarb orange jam. I had it in there. 2 oranges, 5 cups of finely chopped rhubarb. Go figure. So I think, well, I got 2 cups right here. I'm a little over 4 here. The muffins, I was going to put some extra on the top, but I don't have to do that. So I'm still going to have enough. So I got the 5 cups here, and then I've got I'm just a little hair under 2 here, but I can add a little bit of the, I'm doing rhubarb blueberry muffins, so I can add just a couple more blueberries to substitute for what I didn't have in the rhubarb. That'll work out fine in there. So let's get going on all of this. I found my oranges. I tell you, sometimes I can't even explain myself. Okay, 2 oranges. Back to the Peach Festival for a minute. So they serve breakfast, and they have peach cinnamon rolls. They didn't have them ready when we wanted to eat, and then we wanted to go on this train ride around Schnepp Farms, and they tell you all about the whole history of it and everything. Very interesting. So we ate a regular breakfast, which was quite spendy. Very good, but spendy. And then we decided we'd get a couple cinnamon rolls to take home. I forgot, because I haven't been there for quite a while, how big their cinnamon rolls are. These peach cinnamon rolls covered this whole thing. So we could have all shared 1 cinnamon roll and been just fine. They have peach inside of them, you know, the fresh peaches. They're homemade. They're wonderful. Sweet, but good. So we've just been kind of hitting that here and there, and that's about it, because it's very sweet, and it was huge, and we had 2 of them. So we're about done with the sweet stuff. So the next thing that we have to do, we have to take this orange, and on half of it, take off the peel. I am a creature of gadgets. I don't know. I'm gonna try this one really quick. I've never used it before and I wanna see what it does. Okay, I can tell already I'm not gonna like it. Yeah, I won't like that. All right, so we're just going to use our regular orange peeler, or our regular peeler. And I'm trying not to get too much of the, I don't want to dig into it. I want to try to stay on the top skin because I don't want that white, because the white is what creates the bitter. And I don't want bitter jam. I even think whatever comes off on this, I might try to scrape some of that off. Don't you just love trying new things? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'll do one more. All right, that's about half. Now, I'm going to scrape off a little bit of this white. It doesn't say to do that, but just my preference. Because when I made that prickly pear jam, it had a lot of this. Well, it just told you to cut the orange, and you put all of this in there, and it's kind of bitter. It's good, but you know, it's going to be more for meats and stuff like this. This is going to be a jam that you're literally putting on toast and things like that, so I don't want it bitter. Boy, this will make a good zest though. I made a dish last night. It was a lemon chicken, or creamy lemon chicken with orzo, and it had cheese in it too. But that lemon with that chicken, oh my goodness, it had how much was it? 1 or 2 cups of lemon juice? No, excuse me, no. It was 3 tablespoons of lemon juice and lemon zest. 2 tablespoons, I believe, of the lemon zest. Oh, you just get those little hints of that lemon zest in there, and it was so good. I'm going to finish this up, and then we'll go to the next step. Now that we have got all of the white removed as much as possible, we are going to take these strips and we are going to cut them into slivers. So we want really thin slices. And I don't want mine long either, so if I get them long, I'm going to cut them like that. So just tiny little slices. This will take a minute. I'll show them to you when I'm done. We have got our oranges all thinly sliced, like slivers, about 1 inch long. I came up with quite a bit. Okay, so that's ready. Now we need to juice the oranges. So I'm just going to use my little hand juicer here. I need 1 cup of orange juice, and if these 2 oranges don't give me that 1 cup, then you add water to make that 1 cup. All right, there we go, 1 cup. Good to go. All right, now we need to move everything over to the stove after I clean up this sticky mess. Okay, I just went over and was getting everything prepped, my sugar, my pectin, and I always mix a little bit of my sugar in with my pectin and then I put it into my fruit. And I realized when I grabbed it that it didn't say regular Sure Gel on it, it said MCP, and I was like, is this an off-brand? And it says Sure Gel right here on the top of the thing. I've never seen this MCP before. So then I was looking at it. It says MCP Premium Fruit Pectin is made with pectin from real fruit and shortens the time needed to create a proper set for homemade jams and jellies. It can be used to make traditional cooked or quick and easy freezer jam and jelly recipes. Okay, so then I was looking at the cooked jelly recipes. And for the directions, you prepare your lids like you always do. You prepare your fruit as directed in the, well, this says by the following chart, but we're not doing the chart, we're doing a book recipe. Place 3 layers, oh, that's for the jelly, hold on. The cooked jam is up here. Okay, reset. Use a dry measuring cup to measure exactly prepared fruit or liquid measuring cup to measure exact prepared juice. Okay, we already know that. Measure the exact amount of sugar into the separate bowl. For no sugar or low sugar jam and jellies, use Sure Gel. For less sugar or no sugar needed recipes, Premium Fruit Pectin. Stir 1 package of the MCP Premium Fruit Pectin into prepared fruit or juice in the saucepan and a half a tablespoon of butter or margarine. And you can do that to reduce the foaming. That's all that's for. You don't have to do it, but it does reduce the amount of foam that you get building up when you're doing your jams or jellies. I will probably not do that. Bring the mixture to a full rolling boil. Okay, then it explains what a full rolling boil is, and that's when it doesn't stop bubbling when you're stirring. And then add the sugar to the fruit mixture in the saucepan. Return to a full rolling boil. Now this is the difference. It says to boil exactly 4 minutes for jams and 2 minutes for jellies. Now when you're using the regular Sure Gel, it says to boil for 1 minute at that rolling boil. This is saying 4 minutes. So I'm glad I read the directions. Then you remove it from heat and skim off any foam, and then of course ladle immediately into your jars. So if you guys happen to get this MCP, get your stuff to that rolling boil, and then you have to do that for 4 minutes instead of the 1 minute. So I don't understand where it says that it takes less time, because it's actually taking more time. Maybe it's less time for it to set in the jar once it's been processed. Maybe that's what it's talking about. So we're going to do this, and I pray that it sets up. So let's see it, what happens. Let's go over to the stove. All right, we're at the stove. Our jars are in here. They're nice and warm and sanitized. I've got my lids in here, and my bands are up there along with all of my other equipment. My sugar is right there. My sugar and pectin is right here. Now it says to do the pectin into the fruit, and then I'll add all of the sugar after you get that to a boil. But like I said, I like adding my pectin in with a little bit of sugar because I feel like it dissolves better. That's just me. Okay, we're going to start by putting in our 5 cups of rhubarb. Don't want to waste any of that. Our slivered oranges, the peels, and the 1 cup of the orange juice. we're going to turn that on, and we are going to add in that pectin with that. I put in a half a cup of the sugar. So it calls for 6 cups. I have 5.5 cups in that bowl, and I used a half a cup in with the pectin. And we are going to stir this, and I'm not sure why I'm using a small spoon. All right, let's get down to business here. I need the right spoon. Okay, here we go, my stainless steel spoon. We are going to keep stirring this until it comes to a boil. And that rhubarb needs to get a little bit soft, so it's going to take a minute. It needs to break down a little bit. And then after that happens, we'll be adding the remainder of the sugar and then bringing it up to a full rolling boil. And in the ball canning book, it says to do that at a rolling boil for 1 minute, but that MCP is set for 4 minutes. So I'm going to go with what the Sure Gel packet said because those are the ingredients that I'm using. So we're just going to keep an eye on this so we don't have anything burning, get it softened, and then add our sugar. Here is what it looks like after we mixed all those ingredients together, and we are just waiting for it to, the rhubarb to soften and for it to come to a boil. Our rhubarb and orange zest with the orange juice is boiling. So now we are going to add that other 5.5 cups of sugar, all at one time. Well, that's scary there. We're going to get this mixed in completely, and then once it gets to that rolling boil, that's that boil that won't stop boiling when you stir, then we're going to set that timer for 4 minutes. Okay, we are coming up to that rolling boil. You can see when I'm stirring, the boil is not going away, it is continuing to boil. Now I feel like it's continuing to boil. So let's start our timer for the 4 minutes. Okay, our timer went off, and now we are going to take this off the heat, and I do not need to tell you how nervous I am about this Sure Gel. I think this is more for when you're doing the long jam method, which is not what I was intending. So now we are going to skim off that foam. Well, some of that dribbled into there. Can you see that? It's sitting in there. So, oh, I don't want to get that rhubarb in there. You just want the foam, not the fruit. Now that we've got 90% of the foam off the jars, we can pack our jars. So it had said 7, so I'm going to pull out 7 and see what happens. And you're going to go to a 1/4 inch headspace. Pretty sure I'll need to put a little bit more in that one. Oh yeah, I think that'll set up nice. Let's put this in a little, I always like putting it into a little container. And then after a while I can see how good it's set up once it cools down. I can already tell it's gonna set up okay. Happy about that. Here you can see how it's gelling already on the lifter or on the filler. And it's gelling up in the pan. Yeah, I think this will be good. But you'll have to make sure, we'll have to see how it goes, but definitely do that 4 minutes. Because it definitely wasn't gelling at the 1 minute. Let's get a little taste test. Wow, that's good. Sweet as always, but the tartness of that rhubarb and the zing of the citrus, that's a good combination. We'll see what they look like when they come out of the canner. Here on to the next project. We still have 5 more minutes on the water bath canner, and once that timer goes off, I'll shut that off and I'm going to let it sit there for another 5 minutes with the lid off to just come down and relax a little bit before we take them out of the jars or out of the canner to set on the towel. So now we're going to make rhubarb blueberry muffins. Okay, we are going to start with 1 stick or a 1/2 cup of butter and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. That is not salt. And we are going to just combine this until a little crumbly. We don't want to overmix it. Okay, now we are going to add 1½ cups of sugar. Mix that. Okay, then we are going to add a 1/2 cup of milk and 2 eggs. Okay, then we are going to add in our flour, which is 2 cups, and baking powder, which is 2 teaspoons. I'm going to stop here for a minute and just clean up the sides of my bowl. Okay, now we are going to add our zucchini. At this point, I won't be using the mixer anymore because I don't want to bruise my fruit. So I'm just going to kind of fold it in. Oh, there's that timer. Okay, we got the lid off and it is just coming down a little bit. Just calming down from being in that full boil. Okay, now since we had 1½ cups of the rhubarb and I was short that extra 1/2 cup, I put a little bit of extra blueberries, an extra 1/2 cup of blueberries into my measuring for those. And we are just going to gently fold those in. These are frozen. You can use fresh. Okay, now we are going to take, this should make 12, I believe. And we're just going to drop this into these cups, and we want to fill them almost all the way to the top. They will not overflow, but I'm going to get each one filled first, and then we'll go back and top them off. Okay, either I have really big blueberries or it makes more than that. So the recipe that I was following did not say the oven temperature. It was very vague. So I was thinking it would make about a dozen, but it looks like it might make, I don't know. I don't know if I can get another 6 out of that, but we're going to try it out. So I'm thinking that it was the large blueberries that I had that are making this recipe not turn out correctly. I do think that it makes 12 muffins normally with regular sized blueberries, but these are huge blueberries. I filled those almost all the way to the top, and I still had some left over. I wasn't about to waste it, so I just did 4 more little muffin tins, and now I'm just going to take and sprinkle some sugar over the top of each one of these, and then we are going to cook these ones here that are completely full, for 20 to 25 minutes. These other ones I'm going to be checking between 15 and 20 minutes, because if I let those go for 20 to 25, they will most likely burn because they're not as full. I have my oven preset to 350 degrees. I did sprinkle spray my muffin tins. I always do. And that recipe didn't say anything about that either. So let's get these into the oven. All right, you guys, we have our muffins in the oven. And now we can take these jars out of the canner. When you take your jars out, try not to tip them. I have a hard time because of the microwave being right there. If there's some water sitting on top of those, it's okay. Wow, these jars are beautiful. Look at that. Bring it in a little bit closer. Isn't that just gorgeous? And 2 more to go. And then, remember how I said I always put some into a dish? And look at, that's set up beautifully. It's very well gelled. And so I think that the MCP is good, but definitely do the 4 minutes on the rolling boil, not just the 1 minute, if you're doing the MCP. We did it. We used up all the rhubarb. We have our rhubarb strawberry jam. We have the rhubarb orange jam, which is just gorgeous, and they've all set. And then here is our hot rhubarb blueberry muffins. Don't those look delicious? I can't wait till those cool down. That's what I'll be having for breakfast. Okay, you guys, I hope this gave you guys some ideas on what to do with your rhubarb when you have it coming in your garden, or if you go like me to the farmer's market and just want to see what you can do with it. I had a great time, and I'm probably gonna get some more before the season is over. I did hear once July hits, it starts getting pretty woody. I'll probably pick some more up in the next couple of weeks to make some more jam, because these would be great for gifts. You know, kind of that tangy, sweet type of a flavor. And I even read in the bulk canning book that when you're doing this rhubarb orange, you can layer it in between your, if you make a cake, you can make it in between the layers. And I can see that being really good. So, thank you again for coming and hanging out with us today, and I hope that we gave you some ideas on different things that you can do with your produce that you have coming in, and we will see you soon. Take care.